Jim Barry and Christy comes in, you see. And Jesus Christy, I says, you know what? I said, we'll have to shoot you. And Jesus, Mickey says, sure, you tried everything else, he said. The 15 players just line up in the middle of the field, right? And the referee that he come along, started the captain, this team, and he'd count him, you see. I suppose it was the idea of counting, you know. And he came down along the Leinster team, Kilkenny selection. And he came down and then up the other team. And he came up along John Maher now, he was beside Mackie was at the end. And when he left his hand on Mackie's shoulder, Mackie says, ah, for feck's sake, ref, he says, throw in the feckin' ball, he says, and then keep out of the way. That time, a high ball would be coming in out of the sky, right? And 'twas legal that time with the rule. The forwards could charge in before the ball, and they could have the goalie hanging it in the back lat before the ball had come at all. But so it was up to the backmen to keep out the forwards. Paddy Barry was interviewed there one time, and I heard them saying the Donegal Doolin was asking about the Tipperary playing against the Tipperary backline. You see? Well, says Paddy, we're there to get the scores, he said, and the Tipperary backs are there to stop us, he says. So draw your own conclusions, he said. There was a great character, I know, did you know, I must tell you, Dennis Conroy. And they made him a chair, he was nearly on crutches when they made him chairman of the Cork County Board, right? So now he had a son married here in the town to a pub there, Glasheen's pub, which you go up the Factory Road. And he used to come up every weekend and he'd stay there, you know, for the matches. So, they were there this Sunday night anyway, and the team was after coming back, of course, were beaten. So, Conroy was there and he was drinking away, and these crowd of lads came in real late about 11. They were cursing and swearing the way they were held up in the traffic coming down from Dáil Island, you know. He said it took us 6 hours, he says, nearly to get down. And Dennis was there with the pint. Well, sure, he says it wasn't too bad. He says, it took you 18 years to get there, he said. If you put up your hand that time, and you'll be counting the fingers when you bring it down. You know, really, you know, well, if the ball is there, you're entitled to pull it, the feckin' ball. You know, it isn't like you know, excuse me, I was here first, or you may have the ball, this kind of a crack, you know. Jesus, Mary. But as I told you before, I broke fingers, I often got 8 or 9 stitches after a match. My jersey would be red. I never lay down, never left the field in my life. You know, we can't understand this bird cage. That's what I call it, a fucking bird cage. And then they have a plaster across the nose, right? What's this for? To keep the nostrils open or what? But then the gloves based all. The first I see wearing one of them was DJ Carey. Well, we can't understand now. I see match with Kilkenny up there. Who were they playing? And DJ ran in 50 yards nearly from the middle of the field with the ball the whole way and tapped it into the net. And then, Jesus, so that's not, you know what I mean? You won't do it in rugby, will you? You hardly do it in soccer. That's harder. I tell you, the goalie in soccer to be often bowled over, don't it? She was trying to trip him up, and he was a yard ahead of her all the time in the interview. So she thought she had him then in the end. Monica something. Anyway, so tell me now then, she says, just before we finish, she says, what would you do now? She says, if one of your sons went off next Saturday, she said, and played rugby, she said. And Dennis just, well, now, Monica, he said, Monica was her Christian name, Monica. Well, now, Monica, he says, I'll tell you. I'd go home and I'd ask his mother to know who his father was. Hey, end of story.